What's going on, ladies and gentlemen of the nation? Your dude Sly here, back at it with another news video, but this time we are officially kicking off our Cyberpunk line of videos, with hype building at every scrap of news that pops up, and with gaming biggest event E3 out of the way as well as 10 months left until release. Now is as good a time as any to start having weekly or bi-monthly news videos as we slowly start counting down the days until Cyberpunk becomes reality. So without further ado guys, I bring you my first news update video for Cyberpunk. And then from here on out, keep it here at Sly Nation for the latest as we track down its final stage of development. So let's get this bad boy started, guys. In this video, we're going to be checking out some recent news about a couple of topics. A little bit of misunderstanding thanks to Google Translate, the music and band of Cyberpunk, the different classes you can start out as well as the classes of everything that we might see in the game, and much more. So starting with the Google Translate and recent rumors circling CDPR about working on 3 different Cyberpunk games, with one of them reportedly being the sequel already. We all know how difficult it is for a machine to directly calculate, words from another language. Expressions, meanings, body language, a variety of factors influence what you really mean when you speak, and software translation's not bulletproof science, at least not right now. That is, until AI or deep learning can track the code on how we can make it reliable. But until then, be wary of online translators, because one such misunderstanding happened with CD Projekt Red concerning Cyberpunk and another game. So a few days ago, a European gaming news site used Google Translator to try and translate a tweet from an official CD Projekt Red source, and of course they're from Poland. Ended up causing quite a stir, which sent the headlines into a frenzy. Rumors had it that Projekt Red was currently making another large game on top of Cyberpunk 2077, and that multiple teams have moved off the game in order to help. But not only that, there were rumors that multiple Cyberpunk games, including a sequel, were in development, also including multiplayer. So, one European gaming news channel asked them on Twitter, and when the response was translated into English, here is what it said. We're working on 3 Cyberpunk things, over the main game and over 2 more. As you can see and, kind of listen to it, it just doesn't sound right. It's not a cohesive sentence and doesn't really fit into the world of, internet shorthand either. Well, next thing you know, social media is on fire with this recent announcement, but clarification soon sets in. CD Projekt Red sent out an email to most major gaming media sites that said the following. We currently have a total of 5 teams working on a number of projects, with 3 focusing on the development of Cyberpunk 2077. These include CD Projekt Red Warsaw and Krakow, who are handling the main game, as well as a Wrocław studio, where around 40 industry specialists are engaged in technology R&D. A separate dedicated team at Warsaw Studio is handling development of Gwent, and the final team is Spoko, which is currently working on, as of yet, an unannounced mobile project. So yes, CD Projekt Red does have a lot on its plate, but none of it has to do with these rumors that were spreading about 3 different Cyberpunk games. However, it doesn't mean something isn't being made under the radar and we're just not being told about it. Gaming studios take their unannounced IPs very seriously, when secrecy is at the heart of all gaming studios. If Cyberpunk is in fact dropping Witcher 3 style DLCs, they're actually just pretty much small games in and of themselves that take a lot of time to develop, so basic outlines could be being created, but just in secret. Also, a curious thing to note here is that if you look towards the CD Projekt Red's public roadmap on its company internet, actually the company-wide roadmap, not just the Cyberpunk roadmap, you'll see here that they have certain pre-placed plans in motion, one of which includes another huge AAA RPG after Cyberpunk 2077. Now, whether or not this has been scrapped due to the size and demand of Cyberpunk is unclear. But if they are making another AAA RPG, and you know how they make games, and it's due out by 2021 or perhaps even 2022, it would have to be in the works as we speak. I mean, good games take a minimum of 2 years. I mean, an absolute minimum to make. And that would have to be in development sweatshop conditions. 3 to 5 years for most AAA games, and good ones take even longer than that. So we'll see what comes to light in the years to come. But first, let's keep on focusing on Cyberpunk. Okay guys, so next up, let's talk about our boy Keanu. Now, besides the fact that he blew the pants off of everyone when he was introduced at Microsoft E3's conference, he is actually a pretty large piece of the overall in-game story. Keanu Reeves' character is called Johnny Silverhand, a famous NPC who sits in a class called Rocker Boy. He is also the lead singer for a style of rock called Chrome Rock. And the name? Well, it's all over V's jacket from the past 2 trailers. It's called Samurai, and just a few days ago, CDPR acknowledged that a well-known Swedish punk band called Refused would actually be making the music for the game, and for a limited time, call themselves a Samurai, which I think is effing genius here. I mean, every time I think Project Red does something cool and innovative, I wake up the next day to see that they once again topped it, which I am definitely all for. Anyways, as the band Remedy assumes the identity of Samurai, they have been making real music for not only the game, but for listening to right now. Chipping In is the title of the song Keanu Reeves used to enter the stage at E3, and you can listen to it for free right here on YouTube, the link of which will be down below in the description box along with my other sources. Now in the game itself, Johnny Silverhand is the lead singer for the band Samurai, but right now we're not really sure where our main character V fits in. But still, the fact that an in-game band, something non-fiction, is seemingly coming to life in the real world and dropping tracks, that's pretty awesome. Almost like a hardcore version of like Destiny's Owl Sector or other augmented reality ideas. Non-fiction universe crossing over into IRL. It starts to bring, the vibe of Night City to life, and I think that's pretty freaking awesome. Also, with real-life star power of Keanu Reeves, CDPR stated that a Cyberpunk movie is now more of a possibility than before, thanks of course to the star power of Reeves. Now whether or not that will actually happen, that's for another time, and I'm sure it'll depend on how well the game is received upon launch before we start talking about movies. Alright guys, and the last piece of large news that I have here, before I unload a few small details, all of the character classes that you're going to see in Cyberpunk 2077, also known as roles. We'll talk about the first 3 that you can select when creating your character at the very beginning. With Johnny Silverhand's appearance at the E3 trailer, I was intrigued and I wanted to know more not only about him, but his backstory in the tabletop version of the Cyberpunk game, which of course is what this game is totally based around. And there are a bunch of classes for just about every citizen within Night City. Now just to be clear here, when you first start the game itself, you're going to be asked to pick one of 3 classes. But as the game starts to progress, you aren't, mired into one class or another. You get to pick and choose from different classes as you slowly rank up. Now in the tabletop version of this game, classes are also known as roles, something I'll get into in depth in another video. But for now, let's go over the 3 starting classes that you get to choose from. Each class has its own entry point along with a huge backstory, similar to Mass Effect 1's starting point by choosing, Earthborn, growing up on a ship, etc. So in Cyberpunk, you can choose either Nomad, Corpo, or Street Kid in the very beginning. Each has their own origin story, if you will, and each comes with certain style and skills. However, we also know there are other classes available in the game, such as Netrunner. So let's take a look at all of the classes that exist in the tabletop version, as most of these, I assume, will be making their way into the game itself. Keep in mind that each class has its strengths and weaknesses, along with one major ability that is unique to that specific class. So starting from the top, guys, we have the first class called Cop, which are the lawmen specifically suited for the crazy and unruly streets of Night City. After that, we have Corporate or Corpo, spoiled businessmen and women who are trained in deceptive or sneaky skills, assassinations, bribery, blackmail, sabotage, etc. Next up, we have a Fixer, and we've seen quite a few of those in the trailer. The people who know just about how to get anything and know how to get just about anything done. Fixers are deal makers, middlemen, smugglers, information brokers. After that, we have a rather unique class, Media. In an era where FUD and fake news is quite prevalent, having this in Cyberpunk 2077 seems quite appropriate. However, this media class are the good guys who are all about seeking the truth. Where corpos and megacorporations spread information and fake news, Media is all about uncovering the truth behind the lies, peeling back and shining light into the dark. Next up, everyone's favorite so far, Netrunner, the super hackers of the future. Netrunners have the capability to roam the internet using a brain-computer interface through implants, rooting out information to sell on the black market. Hacking, programming, electronics, machine interfacing, those are their strong suits. After that, we come to Johnny Silverhand's class, Rocker Boy. Rocker Boy or Rocker Girls are, as PC Games call them, charisma incarnate, literal cyberpunks who express through music the tortured soul of the streets. Alright, moving on down the list here, guys, we have a Solo, and as it sounds, the Solo class is all about the solo player. Mercs, hitmen, bodyguards, and whatever else you need for whoever who can pay. Most have military experience, and Solos are the fighters of the cyberpunk world. The guy you see in the trailer, Jackie is in this Solo class. Alright y'all, and last but not least, we have the Techie class. One such example is the Ripper Doc. Techies are a term for the home engineer of the future, a clandestine engineer who do all kinds of off-the-record jobs for a variety of clients in a variety of fields. They make their living by modifying technology, everything from electronics, security, weaponsmithing, and even modifying artificial body parts. So far, that's all the classes that I know of or I have researched from the actual tabletop game itself. Now, Mike Pondsmith, the awesomely outspoken creator of the tabletop RPG Cyberpunk, said that all of the original game classes or roles will be in Cyberpunk 2077, but there will also be a few surprises about how we implement them. One thing that we noticed straight away here is that this tabletop RPG turned video game is nothing like Dungeons & Dragons or any other kind of classic RPG. There's no wizards, no paladins, guards, goblins, or anything of the sort, and that's why this game is so intriguing. Putting a futuristic spin on the classes in a real-world sort of way, that's something I find pretty awesome, and I can't wait to see how they play out, and if any kind of like subclass comes into the mix, or if we can pick and choose from a little bit of all of them. The world of Cyberpunk is incredibly dense, guys. I mean, there is lore in here for hours and hours worth of videos. And after a while, you can quite literally find yourself going down the rabbit hole, so to speak. Individual corporations have, their own named NPCs, each have a history and a backstory, how they grew wealthy, how they changed the city, politics. I mean, there is a lot here. And I plan on releasing a beginner's guide to the world of Cyberpunk in the near future. I'm working on that as we speak, so definitely keep a lookout for that, because there's going to be a lot of backstory in there. But as we wind down the video, let's move to a couple of smaller side items that made the news here recently. First up, PlayStation players. You can download a free Cyberpunk 2077 theme for your home console. It's called Mercenary of the Dark Future. As you can see in this image here, all you have to do is download it from the PlayStation Store. So check out the link down below in the description box, and if you sign in through your PC, of course, if your accounts are connected, it will auto-download to your PS4. So definitely check that out if you guys want to change up your themes. Next up, band members. Now, as you know, Johnny Silverhand is, of course, the lead vocalist for Samurai, and on a fandom website, we now know the names of all the band members, as you can see here. We have Carrie, Eurodyne, Denny, Nancy/Best Isis, I'll explain in a second, and then Henry. Most of them split up due to some in-universe troubles, which is actually pretty hilarious. And the Nancy/Best Isis lady, that's someone you'll hear from again as a notable reporter in the game. Finally, the last little bit here has to do with weapons, shooting, handling, accuracy, reload, etc. Earlier yesterday, Miles Toast, a level designer on Cyberpunk, uploaded a quick clip to Twitter talking about a feature that hasn't really been picked up on yet. During the game, when you start out with a fresh character and fresh skills, you'll be inexperienced in just about all aspects of the game. And the cool thing is that the more you use your weapons in-game, the more proficient you become with them. Over time, you'll notice that your accuracy starts to become better, your reload is faster, and even your handling of the weapons looks faster and looks cooler while holding or using the weapon, just overall handling. This is due to an automatic leveling system that sort of ranks up these different areas depending on how much you use your weapon in-game. I'm assuming it's different for each weapon type, and the more you use, say, a handgun, the more proficient you'll be with it, and your accuracy won't transfer over to, say, an SMG. It's a pretty cool feature that I wasn't expecting, as with all things involving Project Red. This automated leveling system is one such reason why I am really excited for Cyberpunk. They put so much work into a detail that most won't even notice, but by the time you're at the end of the game, your shooting will be flawless and hopefully an awesome experience. Very few development companies put so much work into something no one is going to take note of, and that's why I'm excited for this game. But that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and as the weeks/months go by and the game gets closer to launch, and as new information starts to unfold, I'll be dropping more and more videos covering this title. So as always, thank you for watching and for supporting Sly Nation. If you're new to the nation, then welcome, my friends. Subscribe for lots more Cyberpunk news, and keep an eye out for my newcomer's guide to Night City, which I'll have out as soon as possible. Take care, y'all, and feel free to check me out on Twitter or Facebook at Sly Nation Gaming on the FB. Later, y'all, and keep those eyes open for more videos coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you guys next time.